right, listen, I'm recording another one while I'm training agility in RuneScape because listen, it's a hard job out there. Okay, I want to talk about this because I don't want to, I don't want to appear to be too jaded and cynical and have you guys think that like I'm like everything is ass, everyone sucks, blah blah blah. I don't want you to get into that mentality because it's not healthy. My main thing is just that online conversation involving YouTube drama and a lot of politics is absolutely brain rotting. It's not like the nature of discussing these things is not brain rotting, but online conversation is, and that's because I mean it's online, it's mostly anonymous. There's a lot of being behind a screen. You don't get this much like aggressiveness in person, and it's not like one person's more physically intimidating than another, keyboard warrior stuff. I think it's just naturally people just aren't as aggressive out the gate, and so that leads to actual conversations that can be productive. Maybe not all the time, but like for the most part, if you're not meeting the other person with instant aggressiveness, you're going to have an easier time discussing certain topics with them that you're not getting when you're dealing with it online, because immediately, the person that disagrees with me is 100% my enemy. There's no nuance to any conversation. But I don't think that applies to the vast majority of people. In the US of A, the largest group of voters doesn't vote, if I remember correctly. Or, they're at least one of the largest. There's a lot of people in the US that don't vote at all, and there might be a variety of reasons for that. Maybe they couldn't make it. Maybe they just feel like the current people that are representing us aren't great choices, you know what I mean, for lack of a better word. And there's even people that they do vote and they do pick a side, but they're not necessarily super happy about it. They kind of wish that things were a little bit more like we were more willing to focus on things that could actually make improvements in our area and not just argue over I don't know, things that are going to by default be extremely divisive no matter which side of the political spectrum you're on. But yeah. I mean, politics are ass. Politics are ass. But mainly an online discussion. I've said it many, many times. You should educate. If you can vote, you should educate yourself in politics. But like, you should do it through, like not exclusively through Twitch streamers and YouTubers. You know what I mean? Like, my advice has always been, you have your core values that you care about. You should do research, and you should, vote for who you think is going to better represent you and what you care about. Because if I pull a video where I'm just like I'm telling you, based on what I've seen other YouTubers go through, you release a video saying who you're voting for, you're just going to piss off a bunch of people. You're just inviting people that love you to agree with you, and people that hate you to just, continue to, hate whoever you picked. I just recommend every single time, educate yourself. There's a saying, and I'm going to butcher it, but that the idea is those that fail to become involved, or at least kind of, look into politics and who is ruling over us, those who don't do the research themselves are doomed to be ruled over by morons, okay? And I completely butchered that. I do this all the time. I have ADHD. I only have so much hard drive space. The idea, listen, the thought behind it is in there. But as far as like bringing up the quote, I believe it was a philosopher. Somebody could tell me. Somebody will look it up. But yeah, that's the idea. You should educate yourself on it. You should, vote, because you don't want to be. You don't really want morons in charge. You know what I mean? And if you don't pay attention, you might accidentally get a moron in a position of power, which would just be awful, would it not? Anyways, yeah. So no, the world, I don't think is. People have said this for a long time. The internet is not real life, because on the internet people feel way more comfortable being assholes, for lack of a better word. And it's rough, because especially as a smaller channel, like I haven't built up that base of people that will just defend me against that type of person, which is kind of nice in a way, because I don't do the whole parasocial relationship thing too much, but you get the idea. This is kind of a lame video, but I just kind of wanted to just kind of cover that topic. It's one of those basic things that I'm not a fan of, kind of like doxing or calling government agencies against other YouTubers because you dislike them in this moment, or swatting. Like, I'm against all that basic stuff. I will always condemn it. Even if I don't like the person. Can you believe that? Let the let the court system deal with them if they did something illegal. That would be the idea for me. But anyways, that's how I roll. Typical fence sitting baby, I guess. Even though I clearly have a side that I am on, but in this day and age, you can be on one side, but if you don't agree with everyone on that side, then you're actually on the other side. So, American politics, it's genuinely just a joke.